There are just three characters that really matter in the film. Joseph Fowle, Brian Harper and Casey Houseman. The greater part of the optional characters are connected with these three here and there. However, the film doesn't zero in on them especially until the end when it ricochets to and fro between the space stuff and what's happening back on Earth. The optional characters are simply in his ex Doug Davidson, their child Jimmy, and in his unfamiliar international student slice sitter Michelle. There's additionally Brian Harper's ex Brenda and her new spouse Tom Lopez as well as their youngsters, yet just Sonny Harper is of any importance as different kids scarcely talk. Moonfall starts in 2011 with Joe Cinda, Doug and a third space explorer on a standard mission to fix a satellite. This is the point at which the alien swarm first assaults, killing the third space explorer and wearing out the moon. Joseph is taken out before she sees the outsiders and Doug is left accepting any consequence for the occurrence with the outsiders' presence being concealed by NASA. Quick forward to introduce Day and Casey Houseman. A super design is that his genuine title finds that the moon is out of circle. At the point when he attempts to let individuals know what he observed, individuals simply believe he's insane. Yet, a super design is essentially somebody who concentrates on theoretical Dyson circles and monster outsider constructions across the universe. To put it plainly, Casey thinks the moon is one of these outsider-made items and empty within. In any case, NASA sorts out what's happening not long before Houseman releases this information on the web. Joe Senda is presently second in order at NASA. In any case, the overseer of NASA is a feature of the concealment and leaves with his family trying to guard them after an underlying mission to the moon fizzles in light of the fact that the outsider nanomachine swarm is excessively exceptional. The alien swarm can distinguish any energy source and has natural matter inside. Essentially, if the outsider nanomachine sends an electronic mark in closeness to a natural life structure they assault. That implies any machine with the human inside, like a shuttle. Once identified, the outsider nanomachines on the moon promptly assault, with Jacinda now accountable for NASA. She gets together with an old NASA worker and observes film from Brian Harper's head protector cam in 2011, demonstrating the outsiders are genuine. She's additionally recounted the Apollo moon arriving, in which NASA discovered the moon wasn't what we thought it was that concealed it for a really long time. NASA realized it was some kind of counterfeit item with profoundly cutting-edge innovation, yet didn't investigate it any further in light of the fact that they figured it very well may be threatening. Strangely, assuming they had investigated further, they would have found reality and been much better off in the nanomachine's assaults. Joseph and his ex incidentally turns out to be one of the officers accountable for all that she really wants him to be responsible for. Doug finds and tests EMP gadget that closes down anything electronic and is about the main weapon they have against the outsider nanomachines. Joe Cinda is additionally ready to observe an old decommissioned space transport. With the assistance of Brian and Casey, they take off and come to the moon, which is essentially where the finish of the film starts. Now, the film flips this way and that between what's happening in space with Jacinda, Brian and Casey in what's going on Earth. Back on Earth, Sonny, Michelle and Jimmy have all gotten together with Tom Lopez and their family in Colorado and are attempting to arrive at the Army installation where Doug Davidson is pausing. There's a huge load of plundering and composing, as you would expect, with the apocalypse approaching. Everybody is acting considerably more insane than ordinary since nothing has any meaning to them any longer. Each time the moon elapses upward, it makes enormous scope annihilation due its mass and gravity massively affecting all the other things. It really ought to have annihilated the Earth by this point, and that is referenced momentarily in the film. Be that as it may, film wizardry safeguards the Earth. The families never come to the Army installation, yet just Tom Lopez passes on during the outing when he runs out of oxygen. As the moon passes upward, the mass and gravity of it unleash ruin on the air, making all the oxygen escape for a brief time frame. One of the children's oxygen tank runs out and Tom surrenders his tank to save her. Doug Davison and every other person at the Army installation bite the dust and a gathering of moon rocks downpour down on them. Back in space, the fundamental triplet get inside the moon utilizing the opening the outsiders dove back in 2011. They switch off all machines and pilot everything physically to abstain from conveying an electronic mark and getting assaulted. Once inside, they found that the moon is really a Dyson circle with a white small star inside. The encompassing uber structure fundamentally behaves like a monster sunlight-based charger gathering a close to limitless measure of force from the white bantam, which has permitted the superconstruction to get by for billions of years. Inclining further toward that in our science moonflower video, however, encompassing the star is a monstrous outsider base. Brian needs to completely turn on their boats so he can see what's around him, which actuates the outsider nanomachines. It's now that a secretive power assumes control over the boat's controls and guides them to somewhere safe inside the outsider superconstruction. Once inside, Brian is filtered and realizes about the outsider progress that not just made the moon as a method for seeing different cosmic systems with outsider DNA, however that moon structure made the Earth too. Fall doesn't clarify precisely the way in which this occurs, yet the outsider super design fundamentally made a planetary plate that framed the Earth and the wide range of various planets. The outsiders were initially important for an idealistic civilization that had no conflict and depended on self-learning AI to thoroughly take care of them. Whenever the AI at last became mindful, it revolted and killed everybody. The outsider forfeited themselves, leaving their DNA and a lot of Twilight ships that resembled a roundabout Borg transport from Star Trek First Contact. Assuming the outsiders had been inside the moon sends, the AI nanomachines would have distinguished them and obliterate the boats. So just the outsider DNA was inside, alongside a develop AI that was not piece of the principal stuff where the AI nanomachines actually got to every one of the boats aside from one. That one is our moon and the nanomachines established in 2011. It took them more than 10 years to move beyond the moon's inward protections. In any case, once inside, the outsider nanomachines covered the white small star, removing the superconstruction's power supply and making their arrangement was to annihilate the Earth and the moon in one go, clearing out any life that might actually end their reality. The AI develop and the uber structure helps
from the director of Independence Day, Stargate,
and the high-level outsider innovation.
Godzilla comes a new apocalyptic film about the approaching end of the world. Again, at first it seems like the same old plot, but it is not an asteroid that's on a collision course with Earth. It's the freaking moon. Yet the movie leaves us with some questions and opens up possibilities for a new film universe. So today we will be explaining the end of Moonfall, knocked out of its orbit by an unknown force and is on a collision course towards Earth.
Isn't a similar case even the remainder of the film. When you tell him that the moon despite the fact that his cognizance
two astronauts and a conspiracy theorist work together to try to prevent a disaster and discover that the moon is not what it seems.
Of the first, as though you replicated a picture on your PC.
This is the basic strange plot of the film, and it's wrapped around a big mystery. More than just being a story about the end of the world, like Armageddon or The Day After Tomorrow, it is an amalgamation of Independence Day, Matrix, and Star Wars. To understand what exactly the end of Moonfall means, we must start with the most important thing about the movie, the moon. The moon is heading towards Earth, and it wreaks havoc on the planet, causing natural disasters like tsunamis, earthquakes, and even reducing breathable oxygen. However, the moon is not a natural satellite, but a hollow artificial structure.